Hey, welcome everybody. It's Thursday, July 20th, and we're here with the Lavanya membership call and Nico's teaching, which is always exciting. And I'm here because I need Nico's teaching too. And yeah, just Nico, we're so thrilled that you're part of our community. And Shira's got some flowers for the
Oh,
day.
beautiful.
Thanks, Shira. It's always a beautiful time of year up where you are.
Mhm.
Nice to see what's been growing. So yeah, Nico, we're just so appreciative of who you are for our community and the wisdom that you've learned at such a young age and that you get to teach so much to us. So thank you for being here. And you guys, thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to connect with a bunch of open-hearted people and know that we're making a difference together in the world as we heal and become more of who we are. So yeah, thank you. Nico, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. And today's a special day. Today is like the anniversary of my mom passing in 2012, July 20th. And she's here today. And she always comes and visits on that day and comes and checks in. And that was like a monumental like pivot point in my life. And I want to share that because I took the topic for today as loss and grief. And it's not just because, what happened with Harald, but I just felt a lot of people that I was working with over the last few weeks are dealing with loss. And this doesn't have to be a person, it could be a pet, but it could be loss of something you're used to in your life, loss of something you've come attached to, loss of a relationship, people that are going out of your life, loss of maybe physical things, your home, like my girlfriend has to let go of her farm that she has been at for almost 18 years, right? So I kept that loss and the perception of loss and grief kept coming back over the last few weeks. And then I was supposed to teach last week. And then Zane came to me, he's like, hey, you want to switch to July 20th? I'm like, oh, July 20th, I would love to. That's the anniversary of when my mom passed. And that really like changed my life. And I just want to share the story with you because I think it ties into the whole grief and loss conversation very much. So my birthday is July 30th, by the way, so it's like 10 days from now. So back in 2012, when my mom, was dying from cancer, she decided that what for her was much more important was to go consciously through the death process, not to drag things out for as long as she possibly could hold on to her body, but she say like, hey, I've had this whole life and now comes this death process, which I don't know anything about. I want to be fully conscious. So she didn't want any morphine and like all that, as little as she could, so she could really be conscious with that. And I was doing the absolute opposite. My mom was my best friend, so any of her meds I could get my hands on, I was taking. It's kind of drinking myself to death. Like I couldn't handle it. Like it's my best friend, and to see her suffer that much. And now in Belgium, euthanasia is legal, right? So she petitioned for that, and it's like not an easy process to actually that you need 2 or 3 doctors that approve of it. And how do you determine if somebody's really terminally ill?
Yes,
I mean, it was a whole,
yes.
oh, sure. It was a whole process, and yeah, it was interesting to see your own mother fight for her right to pass, to die in a way that,
Yes,
you
I'm
know,
so glad you called because the main thing is that a smart meter not be installed in.
so yeah, I had a lot of mixed emotions like about that, because you can say like, hey, I want my family members to be able to pass like peacefully and this and that. But then when it comes down to it and they're really like fighting for that, that was a really hard time for me. So I was just like falling apart. Yeah, and then she was all excited one day and she said like, hey, I told the doctors like this probably doesn't matter much to you, but my son's been here for like 6 weeks now and he's got a job in America and whatever. And they're like, yeah, that does matter. And she's like, and they approved it, and I'm so excited. It's going to be on Friday. So she told me that on a Tuesday, and that was like a really weird feeling. I think, you know, for most of us with death, we have this, it's this taboo thing. We don't talk to it. Happens to everybody else, but not us, right? And we kind of, you know, dance around that, and I think we get kind of raised that way. So for me, I felt very mixed emotions that she was able to get the euthanasia, because my being there so long. And then yeah, it was really interesting, like the day off, like Friday at like 5 p.m., July 20th, 2012. Yeah, she was just had this big smile. Now, mind you, I was not spiritual at all. It's like God, spirituality, all that woo, that's all bullshit. I'm a scientist. And I thought I knew something. My mom didn't believe in that either. She thought like she'd close her eyes and be all over, which seems so silly for me now thinking back about it, that I actually believed that at one point. But yeah, so, you know, she just like, the guy came in with like the syringe, and she looked everybody in the eyes, and then she looked at me and she said like, you know, you've done really well. I'm really proud of you. Make something out of my, still out of your life. And I felt like a hypocrite because I couldn't cope with it, and I was taking her meds, and she's sitting there with her with the light in her eyes, all bright, and I was drinking myself to death. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do this, but yeah, I promised it to you. So after that, I really like fell apart, and I literally remember being curled up in a ball in my house crying. I couldn't deal with it. Like I numbed myself out for weeks. And I remember one day I was just crying, and I kept getting these like weird thoughts. I was like, these thoughts don't feel like they're my own. And then I was like, what if this mom was trying to communicate with me? And like the cat was like out of the bag. And that's how I got into hypnosis. I started learning about altered states of consciousness. So what happened is, over time, yeah, I learned to meditate and to communicate. She became my first guide. Then a few months later, I meet my first mentor, who is a Reiki master, Kelly. She had never met my mom. You know, my mom's always been in Belgium. I was in the US. And Kelly could just perfectly channel my mom. She could tell me things like that she could never know, right? So once, and she was fascinated with me too. So every 2 weeks, we would go for lunch, Kelly, mom, and I. And it's just like she was sitting at the table. And it like so like changed my life. And I went back to Belgium, and you know, everybody thought I'd lost it. Nico's lost his mind, like he's talking to his dead mother. My dad's like, yeah, my therapist says if it makes him feel better, who cares? Just let him have that illusion, and yada yada yada. But then, like, my mom knew I was going to be skeptical too, you know, and that they were going to be skeptical. She's like, here, let me tell you some things from your future. Your dad's going to have a new girlfriend. She's going to be 7 years younger. Her name is going to be the same name as mine, Godelieve, but she's going to want to be called Leva. And the first time you meet her, you're going to have this cake that we always used to have as a kid with powdered sugar. And Kelly, the Reiki master, is telling me, your mom keeps doing this thing, like a powdered sugar thing. You know what that is? I was like, oh yeah, that's that one cake. So I go back to Belgium. So my dad calls me and he's like, hey, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? You got a new girlfriend? He's like, your sister talked to you. I'm like, no, my sister didn't talk to me. It's like, how'd you know that? Well, mom told me. Oh, mom told you again? Like, yeah, I see how it is. So anyway, I go back to Belgium. My dad's kind of being an ass. He doesn't want to get me a rental car. And I'm laying in bed, and my mom comes in so strongly. You know, when you're in that space in between, she's like, oh, your dad, he can be such an ass. Don't worry about it. I'll talk to him. So she went in this dream in the middle of the night. So in the morning, I hear my dad pacing around, like, is he up yet? Is he up yet? And then he's like really doing the dishes really loud to wake me up at like 7:30. I'm like, whatever, what's going on out there? I go out there at 8 a.m. He's like, I had the weirdest dream. He said, your mom was standing in my room and she was scolding me. How dare you not get him a rental car? He paid for everything when I was sick, and he always paid his own way. The least you can do is get him a rental car. He's like, we have to go get you a rental car. Let's go now. I was like, Dad, it can't wait. Right? And then a week later, he's like, hey, I want you to meet my girlfriend. And it was on Sunday and they were going to come over. And I was like, huh, oh, one thing is wrong because that bakery that that cake came from was only open for another like 10 minutes or so. And he texted me, hey, I'm bringing her over. Like, no way they're going to make it. So they come in and he's like, guess what? We ran through this bakery where we always get that like cake and thought it would be good to have that. And so we like got there like right in time and we got one. So we had the powdered sugar cake and I'm like laughing. He's like, what are you laughing about? Something your mom said again? I was like, yeah. And then later on, like everybody in my family transformed in their own way. Like my father actually, yeah, he became a much different person. Even my sister in her own way, even be, though she didn't have the same experiences as I did and all that, like I saw it completely transform her life. As far as like my mother and I, we got even a much deeper, much richer relationship because I wasn't even alive before she passed. You know, I was living like a robot chasing money and success and whatever, but deep down, I promised her to make something out of my life, but I really hadn't because I had a lot of money and a lot of success, but I was poor within myself. I was empty. And 2 years later, I quit my corporate job. I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to stick true to who I am and I got to keep my word. And that's how like my whole, journey went. And then I rapidly went through this awakening. And yeah, it's really honest because our relationship just deepened so much and she was able to teach me so many things from that other realm that she just couldn't. We just couldn't when we were here and we were no longer, I was living in the US already for over, since the early 2000s. So we got to spend way more time together and it was fun. I started taking classes to be psychic and it turned out I was pretty damn good at this and mom was always there and the psychic guy's like, talk to his mom, leave, he's so easy to talk to. Right, she'd be like in the class with me, so we had all these cool experiences. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story for a few reasons. First of all, because I want to honor my mother because I wouldn't be teaching what I'm teaching today and sharing with you if it wasn't for her. And I got to be very grateful because not only did she birth me like physically, which was an ordeal, as you can't imagine, I didn't want to come back. And so then she actually rebirthed, like spiritually birthed me. So I'm like really grateful for that. The other reason I want to share that is that to put some perspective of what we perceive to be loss and grief. First of all, I think grieving is completely normal. It is part of our human journey that we're gonna miss somebody in the physical form. But I think that there is a big difference between like natural grief and just never getting over it because we're just so focused, right, on we've lost something. Right? Well, we know very well coming in that it's only temporary, that everybody we have in our lives and all those experiences are only temporary. And that's the beauty of it too, because nothing is like permanent. I learned to deal with that emptiness, right? What I once perceived as like, shoot, everything's like empty, to be like, wow, everything's empty. That's awesome. I can keep infinitely creating and nothing is really permanent other than, what transcends the form, right? The spark that we all have in common and, the one consciousness, that we're all a part of. So yeah, just wanted to share that. Let's see. So I don't know if anybody is dealing with any loss or any grief right now or anything. Yeah. And so if you look at the whole story I just told you, like what happened with my mother, like nothing changed about the facts, right? What has shifted over time, right? What has really shifted has been my own perspective. And because of that, I went from believing that death like really existed into like a realm not just like saying, oh, everything happens for a reason, blah, 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 because it sounds good, but really having experienced, the transcendence and knowing that there's really nothing, no such thing like that, right? We shift in and out of these skin suits to have certain experiences, right? But beyond that, we're always connected. And it's interesting because it's been exactly a month since Harold passed, and the same thing is happening. He's guiding from a higher plane and in a different way. And I think this is part of humanity's evolution right now, is that we have to stop getting out of this limited mindset that we're just these bodies bumbling around over here, bumping into each other, and be much more used to the fact that we're so much more beyond that, and that we're all connected. And that's what we're heading into. I truly believe many of the children coming in do not have that separation like we might have. And for many of us, it's opening up now too, to where actually what was once unseen becomes so much more real. My Taoist teacher, Taoist master, always says, what you can see, you have already mastered. Focus on that which you cannot perceive yet, right? So everything that you see in the physical, in this outer world, you've mastered to some degree. The point is now to elevating our consciousness, to expanding our awareness, to perceive that which previously we couldn't perceive yet. Right. And I think we're all going there as a collective. So as far as dealing with grief, and when I see people really get stuck in it, you have to understand how your unconscious mind works. It's like the Google of your universe. Every question you ask, it will answer. Right? So if you're asking yourself, oh, what did this happen to me? Oh, why did they have to take that and this and that away from me? It's going to answer that question, and it's not going to feel well. Right? So if you want to live better, if you want to have a better experience, change your questions. Okay? Instead of why was this taken from me? Oh, what might this make place for that's even more amazing? And your unconscious mind will answer that too. So the secret is to change your questions. What good might come out of this? How might this affect me in a positive way over time? Right? And again, I talked earlier, for those that came a little later, it's normal to grieve and the human part, but then there comes this point, right? When it's ready to move beyond that, because we live in a creational universe. So there's really no such thing as loss. There's things disappearing to make space for new things. But what I see often with people is well, I don't want to let go of this until I know for sure that this is going to be there. It doesn't work that way, right? It's you have all this stuff in your room and you're going to be like, I really want this box in. Well, you got to let go of that box. Well, no, I'm not letting go of that box until this one is in, right? So knowing that the letting go and really getting excited for that, knowing that something else could come in. I think every single one of you has had these experiences where you experience a loss at a certain point in your life. And it's really, really difficult. But then later on in life, something amazing happens because of it that you could have never imagined, right? So my point is when the grieving, when the human part is over, be ready for that. The faster we are able to let go of our attachments to what once was, the quicker something new can come in. Those are just the dynamics. And we're here to have a multitude of experiences. And it's interesting that people that are attached and want that safety, there's so much limiting themselves because now you can only play in this little box. Well, if you're able to let things go and trust that something better, something new will come, the quicker that happens, the quicker new things come in. It's the stickiness of our mind, of our attachment, that keeps us basically trapped in the past, and nothing new can come in. So I know I kind of rambled there for like 15 to 20 minutes, so I'm gonna pause, see if anybody has any questions or remarks or comments.
This is a great intro, Nico. Thanks for getting us rolling. And
Man, I'm starting to feel like Harald. This is going on.
wow, that's only 20 minutes. You still got to triple that to be really on a peer level with him. Yeah, Marcia, you got something? You're muted. There
Have
you
you
go.
heard from Harold? Has Nico heard from him?
Oh yeah, he's been around, and actually one day he was talking about how he realized that with standing up the big towers, the 220s, since there's already living levitating water in it, there will be a time where we can just levitate
What?
on. So yeah.
Can you say that again, Nico?
Well, that, or maybe I should say, like there's a time we should actually be able to move the towers and like levitate them for standing up the big towers.
Oh,
So I
that-
get the idea.
that'd be really handy for the logistics department.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I've heard from him, absolutely.
Cool, thanks. And you're absolutely wonderful, and I just so much enjoy you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Anne's been working on standing her tower up, and she bought her tower like in March, and it's still not up yet. So if we get that levitation thing going, Vermont is definitely the place to send it first.
Yeah, Nico, I'm counting on you.
Thank you.
You connect with Harold and tell him to come here and levitate it. God, every time I line something up, it falls apart. The latest being the torrential downpour and all the flooding up here.
I saw your road, what it looked like. That's wow, that's something.
I know. It'll get up.
It'll be there. Yes.
When Anne in Vermont says her road is out, she means like literally, like she sent me a photo, like her road's gone. Like, so I passed that on to Nico. But Nico, I wanted to say something about what you were sharing. Like, you know, one of the losses that I'm struggling with is, maybe I don't have the exact words for it, but it's like something to do with like my hope for humanity and my vision of contribution to the world and how I want that to look. And, you know, I guess I want everybody to come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, or, you know, some version of oneness and love. And, you know, it's painful on a daily basis to not have that be our current reality. And so, I mean, I'm aware that I'm feeling that. I bet a lot of people are feeling that and are not aware of it. It's like the loss of a lifestyle that we thought we were going to be able to live. And, you know, as I hear you talking, I hear it opening. You know, it's like it's unfolding and there's like room for something else to emerge. And you've given us a great inspiration of that with the loss of a person and how much emerged in your life. And I wanted to connect it to that theme too, and have that be present as you're teaching, because I couldn't get too much support in that area. Like that's really a big one for me.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, Patrick. And I think it's something that a lot of people are experiencing. Now, let me give you a different perspective. What if I told you that old reality is already here, but we're not living it because we're holding too much on to the past and still believing that we have lost something, so we can't see the new thing yet? When you are looking at the outer world and what you're seeing right now, you have to remind yourself that you're looking at the sum total of your past. You are looking at your past when you look in the outer world, right? That is the world that was created by the sum total of your beliefs, conscious and unconscious. And, you know, as above, so below, you know, as the one, the many, the same goes for humanity. So rather, know that your responsibility as a co-creator is to focus on the inner world and holding what you want the world to be, so it can then manifest as the new outer world. So the faster way to get over that perceived loss is to get even stronger in your conviction of being creator, and that what you hold in your inner world is what you're going to see as a reflection in the outer world. Right?
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
So that's where that gain is. And that's what we need to learn as humanity, put our big boy pants on and really get to know that we have to start mastering this before we're going to see it here.
Mhm. Nice.
Because we've been tricked to believe that the outer world, like we're a ping pong ball in this construct that's not a part of us. That's absolutely not true. We are the creators of this whole world we're seeing. The quote unquote, the bad guys, the whatever, they're just encouraging us to own that, right? And we have to start taking responsibility for all of that. We cannot just say like, ooh, just the positive in the world, that's my doing. Everything else is like the other guys. No, 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 no. We have to completely let go of our stories and within and our limited beliefs. And the more each of us does that for their own world as the center of their own experiential universe, like exponentially, the world's going to change. That's how powerful you are, right? You're not a ping pong ball in a cosmic pinball machine. You know, you're the whole machine, right? You're putting
It's daunting to contemplate having that level of power and to really come into alignment with that truth.
Well, yes, Patrick, and you also have to know that your unconscious mind wants to keep you safe. So it rather sticks to what's familiar, that's safe for the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind is like, ooh, it's much safer for Patrick to like focus on, look at all the bad in the world and like this and that, than to really step out and go out on a limb. Right? So a lot of times we hold on to these things, not because we want to suffer, but our mind is just like, ooh, it's just much safer to stick with this than really stepping out into the world, being who we are, really going within and seeing what's there and letting go of that. And that's what we're being called to do right now, which is to let go of all our stories. The stories are not important. Every moment is new. Nobody tells you that you cannot wake up tomorrow morning and be a completely different person. There's this feeling that we need some level of consistency with who we were yesterday. Screw that. No, right? As long as you're not harming other people, as far as I'm concerned, right? You get to be who you want. There should not be no consistency from like yesterday, right? If you really strongly feel about it in your heart, yeah, go out, be that way in the world, right?
Right on.
So what I would want to do today is like a process. And I'm wondering if you could imagine, you know, what your life would be like right now, what you would feel, how you would feel right now if you only remember your past in a positive daylight. If you could remember your past to where it supported you in being who you are now. Anything that's quote unquote less than positive was a lesson, was a stepping stone to something better. Could you imagine how you would feel like if you were, you know, if you felt that way about your past? So just for yourself, I just want you to kind of look back on your past, just kind of tune in. And then, you know, see how it makes you feel, right? And just kind of rate it a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 is like, euphoric. I love my life. Everything's just absolutely amazing. This is going to propel me into the future to live an even more amazing life. Or maybe like, oh no, it's such a tragedy. It sucked so much. Like it would be a 1, right? It's all bad. So just kind of look at it and see how you feel about it, right? And then write that down. It's going to give you some time to notice what sticks out. when you think back about your past, what your mind is going to, how it feels about it. It's perspective on those things. That's right. Really have a good look at it, because by the time this process is over, you will look back with a much different point of view, much more elevated place. So. Awesome. So that's one part, and we're gonna do like, we're gonna do a little meditation trance session, do some timeline work that we're gonna do that with. And then I'm also gonna give you another resource, something that we're gonna build. Imagine if you're ever anxious or you're afraid of something, imagine that you had a tool that you could just call up to put that all at ease. Right? That's what we're also gonna do as part of today's process. Anybody have any questions or any comments before we prepare for that? So I think most of you, Patrick, go ahead. All right.
It's actually Zane. I'm just working on
Oh.
unmuting.
Oh, sorry, Zach.
Yeah, we got it. I just want to thank you for your sharing, and you touched upon like really pivotal points for our life journey, and that is seeing everything as temporary, like ephemeral. Of course, there are enduring truths, but I think those come very evident when we're able to see the transitory nature of life. And that totally changed it for me after my wife died. I mean, my beloved, we were just focusing on during our life, like, oh, we're going to die together, conscious exit of the body. So, but of course it didn't work out that way. But so it's really been such a teaching for me, like profound in my soul journey, to see things as it's so temporary, and to appreciate the moment. It's like the past goes. I mean, so it's been my practice lately, is that being so present in the moment, and which is eternal in one sense, and also the mystery. I think this risk we take, and surrendering to the mystery and befriending it, really, because I think it's a very safe place to be. And I was able to experiment with that when I drove across the country. I didn't know what route I was going to take. I said, I'm going to just totally open to this and see where it brings me. And so I was led to a lot of good places. Everything unfolded in such a flowing way. Of course, I was traveling with my cosmic tower. It was a good experiment, because I'd feel myself, my ego self getting, oh, geez, why don't you plan more or something? But no, it was like this new relaxation, and it made me very present and very aware of like signs that the universe gives you, signs, and follow those. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that, and thank you for your share.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Zane, and sharing your experience. And yeah, you're absolutely correct, because what only really gets hurt ever are our expectations of how we believe something or someone should be. Right? And we think in our ego thinks in its infinite wisdom that it can foresee everything. And like, you know what? You can have massive amounts of data point, but in the end, you're still flipping a coin, and you make your decision based on a feeling in the end. I think Alan Watts did something like that one time. I loved it. And so yeah, you might as well just flip the coin right there and just go with the flow. And you will get to know, and you will get to trust that feeling, right? Your unconscious mind, your higher mind always gives you guidance. But that guidance doesn't come as thoughts. That's where a lot of people are led astray. It comes as feelings, right? So tuning into those feelings. So quickly, before we go into like the process, I mean, a lot of you have been through this. I just want to remind everybody that we're dialoguing with the subconscious mind, not with the conscious mind. We're dialoguing with the part of us, the powerful part that really shapes our life. And when it comes to dialoguing with the subconscious mind, remember, when we ask it a question, there's 6 dynamics. The unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It's always going to feel like you're making it up. You're always going to feel the urge to edit the information. And it's always that quiet, small voice in the back, not that loud voice in your ear. And it's never linear. The subconscious mind doesn't know time. Everything's like happening right now in this moment. So know that the secret to making this work, you know, the most for you, the secret to your intuition is to learn to shut the loud part of you off and to learn to go with that first impression. I'll tell you a little exercise that I did to learn that I learned from the psychic guy in Cincinnati that taught me to tune into that. He would give me a card deck and he said, like, you just shuffle it and you go and you learn to feel. First thing that comes, you clear your mind, black, red, and you do the colors. And yeah, it really didn't take me that long to get all of them right. So it's something we can all learn, and it's a fun way to do that. You should do it sometimes. Maybe you take 12 cards, you know, 6 black, 6 red, you put them there and you just go with that first impression. You will see statistically, you are immediately above 50%. Statistically, they would tell you it's 50%. Oh no, you'll see 8 out of 12, 9 out of 12. And the more you try to control it, and you'll actually know it when you didn't go with that first thing too. So that's one of the ways I practice that in the beginning in a playful way as a game to really help develop that skill. There you go, Tara. Very nice. Awesome. So, all right, let's play. Everybody ready to play? Cool. So be playful, have fun with it, and yeah, just relax. So just, yeah, close your eyes and just make sure your phone is off. You can't be disturbed and all that, you know, that you can fully relax into that. We're just playing pretend. It's all right. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart. Any sounds you hear besides the sound of my voice are simply sounds of a busy environment. People talking, traffic passing by, or trains of thought moving in and out, simply moving you deeper and deeper. Take another deep breath. Let that breath out with a sigh. Guys are doing great. And get more and more relaxed. Just allow all the tension to float out. And all I'd like you to do is to simply focus all of the attention on the lids of your eyes. That's right. And with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart, let those little teeny tiny muscles in your eyelids relax more and more completely. That's right. More and more relaxed. Just let them completely get relaxed, totally heavy. And they will get so relaxed to where you can no longer open them up without putting more tension back into them. When you know they're that relaxed, test it. And when you're satisfied, stop testing and then let that level of relaxation float all the way from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. That's right. More and more relaxed with every beat of your heart. You guys are doing great. So in a moment, not yet, in just a moment, we're just going to relax our mind as much or as even more as we've relaxed our body. And I'm going to ask you to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. And all I'd like you to do with every breath you take and every beat of your heart is to allow those letters to be relaxed completely from your mind. Allow them to become smaller and darker and harder to see. Turn that volume all the way down, down, down. Just allow it to take place or just let them go completely. They can come back later, but for right now, all I want you to do is play pretend, have some fun. And when they're all gone, just let me know by nodding your head with honest and unconscious movement, so I know we can move on to the next part of the process. Beautiful. You're doing great. And as I count next from 1 to 5, you're going to deepen this state. You'll even go deeper and deeper. But no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you'll always be able to hear my words and follow my instructions. Not because I say so, but because you realize deep inside your mind, body, and soul that everything I'm about to say and everything I'm about to do is for you, to help you live the life you want by your standards and your definitions. So you can attract the things into your life that you want and systematically expunge, delete, or remove the things that no longer serve you, the things that no longer give you benefits. That's right. Number 1, going down, drifting, dreaming, floating deeper and deeper still. Number 2, going deeper and deeper, 3 even deeper still. 2, 1. You're all doing great. Now, in a moment, not yet in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to do something very interesting. I'm going to ask you to use that amazing, all-powerful imagination I know each and every one of you have. And I want you to do it in your way, in the way that works best for you. See, obviously, we're all working together here today, and we're obviously in some form of resonance, no matter where we are in the world. There is a part of us all connected together beyond space and time. And we'll naturally go through these processes at our own rate and speed, and that's totally okay. And as I'm guiding you, you might lag behind a little, and it's not because you're slow or because you're not skilled, but it's simply because you process differently than other people, and that's totally okay. Because as long as you're unconscious, which is the bridge to your superconscious, your higher conscious can hear my words, it can follow my instructions and give you the results that you came for. So I'm wondering if you might be able to do something for me. I'm wondering if you might be able to imagine a place that is so loving, so nurturing, so positive, so healing, so safe and so protective in every conceivable way that no negativity of any kind could exist there for even a fraction of a second without being vaporized immediately or turned into its opposite. I'm curious. I'm wondering if you can imagine what a place like that might be like. So when you're in that place of absolute safety, I'm curious about something. When you're in that place, what might you see that lets you know you're completely safe and nurtured, loved and protected? What might you hear? What might you smell? What might you taste? Because when you're in that place, when you see what you see and you hear what you hear, and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. A feeling that lets you know you're truly safe. And that there is a place in your body where those wonderful feelings start, where they grow, and where they're spread from. So take a moment and notice where you feel it. And then you can go ahead and point to it with your hand. And as you point to that amazing place, this is your bridge. This is your entry point. That's right. Now, I want you to notice as you go look there that there's a color connected to these amazing feelings. And in your own mind, just note what color or colors that might be. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, imagine a big, beautiful ball of that energy, of that color, of those colors hanging above your head. And notice how the feelings in your body start to shift and change with every breath you take. And every beat of your heart, that wonderful ball of energy, it begins to grow, to glow, it begins to expand. It begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. And I'd like you to notice how it wraps itself around you, like an amazing blanket of safety, a cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating and protecting you from all threats, all negativity, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs in an ever-expanding and unlimited supply. That's right. And when you know if you've got that, I want you to breathe those amazing energies through your entire being. That's right. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like hot air fills up a balloon. That's right. Anchor it in you so fully, so completely. No force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. And when you realize it's locked in, when you're certain of it, test it. Try to turn it off and make it go away and notice what happens instead. That's right. Many people notice very quickly that it just keeps growing stronger or stronger, or is there to stay forever. Other people just tell me, hey, I don't want to get rid of this feeling. That's totally okay. Hold on to it as it will get even better and better. Whichever one worked for you, whichever one your response was, it's perfectly right, because this is your power now. For as long as your heart continues to beat and for as long as your lungs continue to breathe, this energy will stay with you, anchoring inside of you, growing stronger and stronger, more powerful, more transformational in every way. And from now on, as you move through the world, and you're feeling a little out of sort, you're feeling a little out of balance or fearful, nervous, anxious, worrisome, sad, lonely, depressed, whatever it is, all you got to do is close your eyes and remember that big ball of energy above your head and fill the entire room with it. Breathe it through your entire being until you're fully saturated. That's right. Now, just for fun, what I would like you to do is take a moment and scan your body. And what I'd like you to do is become aware and pay attention to any place in your body where you're holding on to any form of density, any form of tightness or tension. Because many times as we travel through this journey we call life, we experience situations and circumstances and events that take us by surprise. And they're outside of our ability to exert control or influence over, and that overwhelm us in some ways. And what's important to remember, my dear friends, is that divine providence in its infinite wisdom built into each and every human being a special system. A system that would go into operation in those times of trouble, those times of overwhelm, those times of stress and strain, of our boundaries being violated, not knowing what to do or how to respond. I don't know if you remember the Ghostbusters movie where they have these traps and they suck the ghost in them and trap that ghost in there. So does your neurology. It opens up and it sucks all of that in a little box, and it sticks it somewhere in the hard drive of your body, the body itself, holding it there safely in storage until such a time as, guided by the right tools and equipped with the right wisdom, you could go back inside and tell your system, your neurology, what to do with it instead. And many times we accumulate those little Ghostbuster traps, those little containers in our body, and they just manifest as points of density, of tightness, of tension, of blocks, of movies that start playing at weird moments. So as you scan your body and you find those places, you become aware of those energies, and you become aware of them. Take that all-powerful, safe energy and breathe it through those areas in an infinite, ever-expanding and unlimited supply. And notice how those areas begin to melt. Let that safe energy flow in and over and around those areas like hot water flows over an ice cube. Notice how those containers begin to melt and dissolve away, flowing out of your mind, flowing out of your body, out of your spirit. And in its place is everything you most want, need, and desire instead. So take all the time you need right now and let that process take place. And when you know that stuff is completely gone, you can just let me know by nodding your head with an honest and unconscious movement to let me know, and we'll continue with the next part of the process. But take your time. Take as long as you need, and as I continue to talk, this process keeps going. You guys are doing great, by the way. So this is my gift to you, that for as long as your heart continues to beat, and as long as your lungs continue to breathe, this energy will seek out these places. It'll flow into those areas in an infinite, ever expanding and unlimited supply, and it will solve, dissolve, and resolve these from your body. It will solve, dissolve, and resolve them from your mind and your heart and your soul. And anytime you want to, anytime you desire to, you can call upon this energy. You can draw it into your mind. You can draw it into your spirit and your soul and all points in between in an infinite expanded supply. That's right. Now, as you feel that energy continuing to grow stronger and stronger, and as you soak in that beautiful, warm, safe energy, like soaking in a beautiful, warm tub, something else is starting to happen. I'd like you to notice how this other part of you, the spiritual part of you, the consciousness part, begins to float up out of your physical body, floating higher and higher and higher. That's right. Just allow it to happen. And as you look down, floating there from the ceiling, you can see your body in the room. And as you float even higher and higher from there, you will begin to notice what looks like a glowing line of energy, a line of time, if you will, extending in one direction all the way into the past, while at the same time, as you look in the opposite direction, a glowing line of time extending all the way into the future, until that point of transition where you see a glowing ball of light, representing the time when you took on another body, representing the time when you took on and when you entered this reality. That's right. So way, way off in the distance, you also see where you will be leaving this reality and take on a new body. It's all there. So all I want you to do, as you float above that timeline, if you will, I want you to reorient yourself towards it, so that you are looking into the future. And when you're looking into the future, your future is directly laid out in front of you in a nice straight line, while your past is directly behind you and goes far back, all the way back to your first memory. Now, as you float up above that timeline, many people report that as they float higher and higher, they connect more fully to that level of themselves that's divine in nature, more omnipotent, more loving, more all-knowing. They realize that in this space, you're all-powerful, and you're the king of your own neurology, and you absolutely have every right and privilege to make any change that you want and have those changes made manifest in the external world. Because all the experts in the world agree, whether you're talking to the new scientists, cutting-edge scientists now in physics, or the ancient lore, the mystical masters, that regardless of age, culture, and geography where they come from, they all come to agree that it's your inner universe, that non-local space, the akasha, the void, that the inner mind that is this place, that anything you imagine, anything you can intend, anything you can act out must become true from this place and made manifest in the outer world. So now in a moment, not yet in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to start floating back through your timeline. And I want you to keep moving backwards in time, all the way back to right before your very first memory. And when you're back there before your very first memory, whatever it may be, maybe it's in the womb, maybe it's just after birth, during birth, I don't know. But before it ever had a chance to happen, right before that first memory, I want you to be there. And when you're there, just nod your head and let me know that you're right there. That's right, floating all the way back. Beautiful. You guys are doing fantastic. So now in a moment, not yet in just a moment, I'm going to guide you through a process. right? And all I'd like you to do is let yourself drop down until you see this first memory, this whole timeline right in front of you. And as you do this, you can feel your own sense of power growing stronger and stronger. And as you survey your timeline, like an emperor surveying his kingdom, I want you to reach out with your dominant hand right in front of you. And with a wave to the right, I want you to take all positive memories and put them in a line on the right, line them up. Notice how they're all lining up. That's right. And then with a wave of your dominant hand, I want you to grab all those less than positive memories and line them all up on the left. To the left of your timeline. That's right. And now, when you're ready, I'm going to guide you. And all I want you to do is make a small adjustment to the right. So you're right in front of all those positive memories. Your very first positive memories right in front of you. And when you are ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to move forward. Start moving through all those positive memories at the speed of thought. Moving through them. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as you move through all these positive memories. That's right. Keep going. Notice how good it feels. All the way through. And you keep going and keep going and keep going. Right, till you reach that very last positive memory right before transition. And when you're there, all I want you to do is move to the left. Move over to the left, so your back is facing the negative memories. Right? And when you are ready, I want you to start backing up. Backing up through all those negative memories. And as you're doing that, I want you to feel them shattering. I want you to feel the energy dissolving forever. And I want you to feel how that energy is flowing into those positive memories, making those positive memories even bigger, growing them brighter, growing them stronger. Keep going back, backing up through all those memories, smashing through them like a dump truck, backing up through a window. That's right. All the way back. Keep going and going and going. Right till you're right back at the very start, before your first memory. That's right. And then what I want you to do is you're going to slide over to the right again. Till you're right in front of that first positive memory, but now it's even brighter. It's even bigger than before because all that energy from those less than positive memories went into these positive memories. So go ahead, start moving through it again. Notice what it feels like. Move forward. Feel how those memories are growing stronger and bigger and brighter than ever before. That's right. Keep moving through them all the way until you get to the end. Feel how your feelings are shifting in your body, shifting and changing. So you're moving through all those beautiful positive memories until you get to the end. You get the idea by now. And you move over to the left again, backing up the truck, backing up through all those negative memories, shattering them, smashing them, melting, shrinking, dissolving, breaking them up, blowing away like dust in the wind. That's right, faster and faster. Take your time and you keep going till you get back to the front. Same thing. You're going to move in front of the positive memories. You're going to notice how much stronger, how much brighter they are. And you're going to move forward again. And you keep moving through, more powerful, brighter. You know, with every move you make, they're getting stronger and stronger. That's right, taking in till you get back to the end, backing up again, melting, shrinking, dissolving, breaking up all those negative memories. And you're going to keep speeding this up over and over at your own pace. With the powerful positive energies, even more powerful now. All the energies from the less than positive moving into the positive ones, getting repurposed. That's right. Feel good, doesn't it? You guys are doing amazing. And once you notice that those less than positive memories are all vaporized, and that all that's left are positive memories and amplified stronger than ever before, I want you to find yourself back in the front of your timeline. And with a wave of your dominant hand, I want you to take this only positive memories now and put them right back in your timeline. That's right. Line them all up. And when you're ready, I want you to step into it. And we're going to move forward through your new timeline. Feeling those new feelings, feeling how your entire history is changing until we get all the way to the present. That's right. Move forward. Notice how different your life feels. Moving through all those memories, positive, amplified, stronger than ever before. That's right. And where you're right here in the present time, I want you to move a little bit into the future. That's right. Go through that glowing portal. Beautiful. That's right. And then I want you to look back from this place, from the future, and look back on your past. Notice what's changed. Yeah, that's right. Notice how different your past feels. Beautiful. Then you can turn around again so you're facing the future. And you're going to go all the way into the future until we get to that point of transition way, way in the future. And when you get there, I just want you to move through that portal in this timeless space. That's right. The space that we go to rest, to rejuvenate in between lifetimes, where we go to prepare. Beautiful. And as you float there in this space, you might actually see that divine spark of you that will eventually take on this body and the events that you have experienced. And I want you to blend with that spark. That's right, that timeless part. And hear your higher mind's voice. In this timeless space, this is the spark that is ready to come into this lifetime. And what I want you to do, I want you to share with it everything that I've learned, anything that you could share with it before it goes in to make your life even more awesome. That's right. You're doing amazing. And now what I want you to do when you've informed that spark, I want you to go back in through your first memory, run all the way through the lifetime with all those positive memories, pick up all the knowledge, all the wisdom, until you get back through transition into the timeless space, and then share again with that spark. And I want you to keep repeating that process over and over, learning more and more every time, keep tweaking it till it's absolutely perfect for you. Each life just better than the one before. That's right. And when you know you got it, when you know it's locked in, you can just nod your head to let me know. Excellent. You guys are doing great. Beautiful. Right. Just keep going, making it more and more perfect. Informing that divine spark that is absolutely perfect. And when you know it's absolutely perfect, what I want you to do is go into your timeline one more time, all the way to the present moment. And when you reach the present moment, I want you to just allow yourself to drop back, to float back into your body and feel your consciousness, your spirit, integrating fully and completely into this body, alive with these transformations. Feel yourself integrating fully and completely. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to look back at your past again and notice what has changed. And as you look back on the past, notice how you've become stronger, more of the person you desire to be, and how you've vanquished every obstacle and triumphed over every encounter, and realize that you're only getting better. Now, for all the time you went through those moments, there was something special inside you along the way with you this entire time. And that is the knowing that you were always loved. A part of you that is always accepting, always with you, that reminded you of all the very best things about yourself, reminding you that you're always loved and that you're always accepted and that you're never, ever alone. This voice within you, always reminding you of this truth. And when you know you got that, I want you to turn around and face your future with eyes of optimism and all the power and all the wisdom that this voice of your higher mind and this knowledge that it has to give you. You guys are all doing amazing. So in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And when I reach the number 5, you'll emerge from this process, bringing all these amazing transformations with you. Head clear, mind clear, thinking and acting with calm self-assurance, feeling good all over. That's right. Number 1, feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you a brand new reality, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. That's right. Number 2, all the suggestions from me to you and from you to your other than conscious mind are now 10 times more powerful, 100 times more permanent, and 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before. That's right. Number 3, always at least 3 ways to overcome any challenge or obstacle that you might face. And your other than conscious mind now easily and effortlessly shows you those solutions and shows you the easiest way to implement them for the good of yourself and the good of all involved. Number 4, because it's all for you. You've done the work, you followed the instructions, you tested the results. You've earned the rewards and the rights to keep them. It's your truth. It's your life, and you get to live it to the fullest. That's right. On the next count, number 5, ready to thrive and feeling alive. Number 5, come back to this new reality. Open your eyes. Notice how different you feel. Take your time. You guys are great. Anybody want to share or anybody notice anything? What I would actually like you to do now, since earlier you checked into how you felt about your past, I want you to go back. Look how you feel about it now as we've done this process. Notice what all has changed. Marcia, you want to say something?
I am just vibrating all over. I just feel like I have so much energy. And the past doesn't mean diddly squat anymore. It's amazing. It doesn't mean anything. And when you were saying to go into the future, I felt like I was going through a gel-like thing. And it was just beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Thank you for sharing. Some of you are not fully here yet, like Patrick, but if anybody else would like to share, you're more than welcome to. If you have any questions, Amy, you can unmute yourself.
There it is. I love your exercises. I love when you present them and you've got there's the joy in your voice. My setup is in the basement, and it's one of those where I usually have to have a sweater on because it's cold. It's a basement. And I had sweat from the energy moving through me from the different exercises. I wasn't able to do like you lost me along the lines of the timeline, but like it just
Okay.
I just went with it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do what I can. And it was still, going into the cosmos and just being a star and just zinging back and forth between past and present,
Mhm.
different stars, and very powerful. Like Marcia said, lots of energy just buzzing. And I just want to thank you for your guidance.
Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing that. And actually what you were experiencing, this breaking out in sweats and being all out, I get that in about 50% of the people that just, it's a processing. It's like a catharsis, like a process. You cannot have alchemy without fire. Like it's the burning away of old things, right? And oftentimes the body absolutely physically responds to that by sweating. Some people laugh, some cry, some giggle, some yawn. These are all signs that the process is working and that the transformation is happening. So drink plenty of water and good, structured, clean water to help integrate that and help flush these things out of your body.
I've got that handy, but yeah, it's crazy because I was barely like right, left. That's about as much movement as I was doing. But
yeah, and what you said, like sometimes, hey, you kind of lost me there. That's totally fine. Like I have that too, and you come back in the process, but know that your subconscious, your other conscious than conscious mind has heard everything. So whether you were aware of it at that moment or not, the changes will have happened. Right. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Or, no? And
I definitely feel a lot lighter. And when you asked us to look back in our past, it was like, I don't know, I couldn't connect with anything. There was nothing like there. It's like everything had fallen off the timeline. It's like, where'd it go? And so it was like I wasn't gonna go looking, that's for sure. And and like I think others have said, I was kind of going in and out. I'm glad you repeated it a number of times because I'm back there and I don't know where I went, but all of a sudden we were in the future, and so I just sort of kept up with it. But that was wonderful, and I feel much lighter. I had a lot of sort of gradu going on in my throat because of all the smoke coming down from Canada, and that actually feels cleared.
wow.
So I think just energetically that really helped. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And you bring up a good point. We believe that memories are these unchangeable, unmovable things of the past. Now, the truth is actually you create your memories in the moment based on who you are now. How you experience at that time, at that level of consciousness, not important. Your memories are recreated. The same happens with your feelings. It's not like you, how should I say, hold on to and store feelings. No, feelings are created in the moment based on how you look at life, what state of consciousness you're in, and your, what's all is in your memory bank of experiences and the perspective you have on it. So nope, the past is not set in stone. We can change it, we can shift it. Megan, you want to say something?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I feel like I'm still grounding it all, but like,
Yeah.
So I tend to just run, and I just love, like, I when I was doing like going through the future, I just pictured myself like Flash, like, I don't know, I have boys, and so like going so fast, and then it was just so bright. It was like a light freeway almost. I don't know how else to describe it. And then when I was going back, it was like I was just breaking all these like mirrors and windows almost. it was like things were just shattering. And then bringing them all together, it was like all these different like versions or dimensions of myself coming together as like one. And then it just like lit up. Also too, like it was really unique because like normally when I start to like get images and stuff, I like totally like went deep within my soul. Like I was like not, if I was laying down, I would have fell asleep, I think. Just completely letting go. Like I felt like each one I found myself where like I kept doing this, like I kept zoning out in a way. It was just really unique. Like that was, yeah, like I am like mentioned before, like vibrating so much right now, but I feel like it was almost like I grabbed pieces of myself from different timelines and brought them together, like missing keys or pieces. I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel more whole right now. So I appreciate that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And oh, you bring up a good point. It's something I learned the other day. I'll share with you. If you have something in your life that you never seem to get to, you know, you got to do, and you're just not getting to it, float up. Look at your timeline and make sure it's not sitting next to it. What you can do is you bring it in and you put it actually in your timeline, or you expand your timeline to include it, and notice what happens then.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. All right, thank you so much for showing up and participating so fully and letting yourself go. I love it. Makes me vibrate too.
Well, thank you, Nico. That was a good nap. I was definitely out. And
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I woke up at 4 this morning. I was happy to rest, but also, you know, happy to be here because I brought stuff with me. So it was relevant. But thank you all for participating and being here. I think it was a great call and hope it makes a difference for everybody. Yeah, awesome. Well, let's oops, let's see. I think we can ask all to unmute and everybody can say goodbye. Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next Thursday, and Nico, we'll see you next month.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much,
Everyone.
Patrick, Nico.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick and Nico.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
guys.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Happy
Bye-bye.
birthday coming up.
Thank
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah, Leo. Look at that Leo smile.
Whose birthday?
you.
Is it yours, Nico?
Oh no, on July 30th. Yeah, I'm a double Leo. Astrologers say it's the moon in Virgo that like saves my ass.
That's why you're close to your, okay.
Okay.
How can we reach you, like to send a blessing or a greeting?
You can reach him through our inbox is fine. Shira, right where you email us. Nico's
Reach
there.
him through what?
To where you email Jan and me.
Oh,
Same place.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.